A Vancouver organization uses film to educate its community, develop safe spaces, and save lives. We examine the challenges queer individuals face, counseling services, representation, and the importance of working within your community with Alex, a Canadian social worker and founder of Sher Vancouver.
You Multicultural in Winnipeg interviewed us when we just released Emergence Out of the Shadows. I think you guys had the film before we even released it. And I was a little nervous how we're going to do. It was our debut feature documentary. So nearly 1 year later now since our release, September 26th would be our 1 year anniversary. We have gotten into nearly 45 film festivals. And we got into Out on Film in Atlanta, which is an Academy Award qualifying festival. We got into Frameline in San Francisco, which is a BAFTA qualifying festival and the largest, oldest queer festival in the world. And then we got into 5 Canadian Screen Award festivals, including the Vancouver Queer Film Festival, the Vancouver Asian Film Festival, where we were nominated for 3 major awards, and the Vancouver International South Asian Festival, where we were the closing night film, and we picked up Best Documentary. And we also got into Real World in Toronto and the Northwest Fest International Documentary Festival in Edmonton. And then we got 3 broadcast deals in Canada.
Nice.
So we were broadcast on Knowledge Network in British Columbia, on TV Ontario in Ontario, and Out TV across Canada, which is a gay lesbian subscription channel. And if, the film has just been streaming, the broadcast version, we have 2 versions, a 58-minute version, broadcast version, and an 81-minute version, film festival version. The 58-minute version is streaming. What happened was on the YouTube channel for TV Ontario, the film has only been up for a few weeks. It's already approaching nearly 10,000 views.
Wow.
For the film. And we have all likes. We have like 40 likes and no dislikes. So I was thinking that's not bad, right? Even our trailer is approaching 20,000. I think 20,000 views. You can check. Our trailer is approaching 20,000 views on YouTube. What happened was, and then we wanted to get the film into high schools in Metro Vancouver at least. And we got a grant from the credit union here, Envision Financial. They gave us $30,000 to take the film into high schools and not charge the schools, but, to pay the guest speakers and everything, and to go in and provide we had a teacher's discussion guide that was created. We have done nearly 40 screenings in colleges, high schools, universities, and high schools in Metro Vancouver with this film now. Which is really the real reason we made the film, is because we wanted to have social impact. We wanted to educate the community, create awareness, and create safe spaces and save lives.
Well, and I think it's so important right now when we're seeing what's coming out of the United States and rhetoric from right-wing groups, having these stories out there, and that there is a united community for queer folks and queer kids is so important now, because online can be a little scary right now.
There's a lot of online hate and racism and homophobia, and especially transphobia. And we touched on most of those issues in the film. So that's what's happening with Emergence. So in terms of the film festival circuit, the broadcast television market, and the educational market, we're doing pretty well. And we even got a distribution deal with the Moving Images Distribution of Vancouver for the educational market. And but there's some exciting, and then the next step for us for Emergence is streaming. We may get an aggregator and put the film on different streaming sites around the world and get as many people to watch it as much as you can. I mean, there's not a lot of money to be fundraised with streaming, but it's a good way of getting visibility and awareness about your film. And then another thing that we have done is a podcast. We have finished season 1 of the Sher Vancouver podcast, which is a BIPOC and queer podcast. We've had 10 episodes. We also filmed the podcast and put up some of the podcasts up on our YouTube channel, Sher Vancouver YouTube channel. So we interview activists, artists, musicians, DJs, community leaders that are BIPOC and queer in Metro Vancouver, across Canada, and it's really taking off. Where it's like our social media, our website, our everything. We're on all the different platforms. And we have all the podcasts available on the website as well, so people can just go to the website, Share Vancouver Podcast, and just look at all our podcasts. We have 10 of them completed, and our goal is to do 10 podcasts every season, and now we're in season 2. So that is really cool because, to be honest, BIPOC and queer people oftentimes don't get the representation and visibility that they deserve. A lot of times you don't hear their stories and their lived experiences, and you don't hear about, the good things they're doing in the world and how they're contributing and how they're fighting intersectional layers of oppression and surviving.
Yeah, and those stories are so great. We don't need more podcasts of just white guys sharing their opinions.
Yeah, so well, I think there's a place for everyone, but I think we need to also have our space. And so that's the podcast. And now we are making our next film. It's called I Migrant. It's a take on immigrant. So I Migrant is about the stories of immigrants from different parts of India to different parts of Canada, specifically Metro Vancouver. We have cast 3 men in the film already, South Asian men, Indian men. 2 of them one is in Toronto, one is in Surrey, and one is in Mumbai, India. And we have a film crew set up in Mumbai who will be shooting some footage for us there. And then we have filming that we'll be doing here in Vancouver, and then we may fly to Toronto. What's happening with this film is we are in the process of recruiting some women. We are looking to cast some women to be in the film, and we are going through that process right now. So if any of your listeners, if you're a woman, an Indian woman from India who's immigrating to Canada, or in the process of, or recently have completed that process, or you're an immigrant and you're a successful immigrant and you're established and successful, and you're a first generation immigrant, then we would love to send you an application. So get in touch with us. Our crew is looking pretty balanced, gender balanced. We have 4 women and 4 men in our crew. We have good BIPOC representation, South Asian representation. We believe in the principle nothing about us without us, which means that if you're going to do a story about South Asian immigrants coming to this country, then the people who are the key decision makers in that filmmakers should also have that lived experience.
Who better to tell the story than that demographic?
Yeah, so we have our Vinay Giridhar, who did Emergence. He's an immigrant from Kerala, India, who settled here in Canada and then did Emergence. And then myself, my family's originally from Punjab, India, even though I was born in England, and I also immigrated to this country when I was young with my family. But I'm kind of like a first generation immigrant because I settled with my parents when they came here. And then also the director is also from India as well. I mean, the director of photography, the cinematographer is from India. He's also immigrated here. So we have a strong, concept of self-determination where we're empowering the people to share their stories, how they want it told. And it gives a lot of integrity and authenticity to the film because we are also part of their lived experience. We have that insight. We're not like sort of whitewashing their stories. So we have that, and so that's what's coming up next. And the interesting thing about what's really going to make I Migrant unique is we are going to shoot the film in real time as it happens, and we've been shooting that. So as these stories are happening, we don't even know what's going to happen to these characters as their immigration journey unfolds. We'll be capturing that on camera and sharing the story so people can actually visually see what happens to immigrants when they come from India to Canada. Like, what do they go through? What is going through their mind, their emotions, their feelings, their psychology, what is the actual experience for them? So that is one thing we're working on, and we're trying to elevate it to the next level. We want to really take I Migrant. We want to get into places like TIFF and Sundance, and we want to take the next film to another level and really hit a home run. It's not just about winning awards and all that. We want to share a story that's meaningful and impactful. But of course,
Well,
it
of
doesn't
course
hurt.
not. Awards
It doesn't
bring
hurt
eyes.
for the awareness. It doesn't hurt for the awareness of your film. Your film is going to get a lot more attention and go a lot further places if you get into TIFF, right?
And as you get these accolades, it just allows you for future projects to get into these festivals more, and just more and more eyes on it to talk about these stories is important.
I thought we did pretty well with Emergence. It's making it easier for us to get funding this time around. And we are also one thing that is very unique about Sher Vancouver is we are pioneering nonprofit and charitable film production in this country. There's not many registered charities that actually do social justice film production, educational film production that make movies. We've already made a short film. My Name Was January, about a trans woman, and then Emergence, about gay, lesbian, Punjabi Sikh people coming out and the reactions of their parents. So we're actually pioneering this kind of funding model and distribution model that most people in the film industry don't do. So I'm kind of like a unique case study.
Well, I'm taking a production class and kind of learning a little bit more about film myself, taking 3 intro courses. I have a small understanding of what it takes to make a project happen, and then you're kind of like throwing that out the window and trying something completely new.
Yeah, and I've done it twice now. So we're on our third project now, and so that's some of the arts work we're doing. We have a youth award, the January Marie Lepouse Youth Leadership Award. We made our documentary about her. My Name Was January. She was a transgender Filipino woman who was murdered. She was our social coordinator, and we uh, created this award for her, and we give $2,500 in cash prizes to youth who are doing amazing things in the queer community. They don't have to be queer, but they just have to be doing work in the queer community. And we've been giving the award every year since 2015, and we attract about 35 to 45 applicants from across Canada, and we give about 4 to 6 prizes. And anyone around the world can apply, but almost all the applicants come from Canada. And it's becoming a very competitive award. I wish we had more money. I wish we had more money to give to the students.
Isn't that the challenge, though? You always need money.
It's like, I mean, we're only giving $1,000 for the first prize winner, and the work that, I mean, really, it'd be great if we could give something like 10,000, and but then again, the more money we give, the more applicants we're going to get. So
Yeah.
you really wonder, who's the most deserving? The ones who apply just because they want to apply, or, money's not a major factor, or do you just want tons of applicants because you're giving a big prize? So
Yeah, it's kind of like that balancing
yeah,
act.
so it's kind of like a balancing act we have. So we have that Youth Leadership Award, which is coming, so that the deadline for that is December 31st for this year, and then the winners are announced early in 2023. So that's exciting thing coming up. And then we have next year, April 2023 is the 15th anniversary of Sher Vancouver.
15 years. Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
awesome.
so we're a charity now. We provide free crisis counseling. I mean, who provides free counseling? We have no wait list. We have 150 counselors. We basically a counseling firm, No Fear Counseling, donated $14,000 worth of free counseling sessions to our members who are in crisis and distress. And so that works out to about 100 sessions a year. And there's no wait list. You can choose from over 150 counselors, multiple offices, multiple languages, and it's a really critical life-saving program that we have. And we have outreach workshops that we do in high schools about racism, bullying, homophobia, transphobia. We show our films, our screenings in schools program. We show both our films My Name Was January is really popular for Transgender Day of Remembrance, and Emergence is really popular for National Coming Out Day in October. So we really pitched the film during those days. And then, we do a lot of intake information and referral. I mean, since we became a charity, I really don't know what happened, but our for some reason our contact information and our website and everything is showing up on all these websites around the country. And we're getting so many more inquiries. I think we're doing about 150 to 200 emails, social media messages, text messages, faxes, telephone messages from all different platforms. We're probably returning 150 to 200 a month. So it's a lot of
Oh,
work.
boy.
It's a lot of work. So it's a lot of work, I'm doing, but I'm forwarding a lot of them. I screen the ones that are at risk. As a clinical social worker, I do the screening of the ones that are at risk, and then I forward the other work to my other team. Our team in Sher Vancouver is growing very rapidly. We have a core operating team of about 30 people now, and then we have a manager of volunteers who supervises a group of about 15 volunteers. And then we have a peer support group for men, and they have a WhatsApp group, and they have about 50 people that are on that WhatsApp group. And then we have a women's peer support group where they have a Zoom meetings and they have their chai and chill and they have guest speakers and talk about health and wellness and self-care. And they have about 25 to 45 people that show up to every meeting every month. And then trans and non-binary people are welcome in any of our programs and services, whatever they want to do. So yeah, so that's a little bit of what.
Busy
So,
stuff right
so
now.
we're doing, this is kind of exciting. We have a lot of stuff happening. We just had our volunteer recognition event, and we had about 40 people there. And then we had our, um, you know, uh, Sher Vancouver has, maybe I should show you. I'll just sit down and I'll tell you what we did. So one of the women that was starring in Emergence out of the shadows, her name was Jag Negra. She was the graphic designer and the visual artist. And she designed some buttons for us. I don't know if you can see that. It says PR is PR.
I love it. I
So
love it.
PR is PR means love is love. So we give these out when we're doing, community outreach and attending events. And then these buttons became so popular that people wanted shirts. So what we did is Jag on her website, she has the Sher Vancouver collection. She designed 3 different types of shirts. So this is the PR is PR, Love is the Pride collection. And then we have the Sher Vancouver logo, the official logo shirts. And then we have the Sher Vancouver podcast shirt. So we have 3 different types of shirts: podcast, pride, and our logo.
See, that's how you
So
know things are starting to elevate for an organization when they start to have merch.
yeah, so she is actually selling our merchandise on her website, and we get a percentage of the net profits. So this is an all-around good. We're creating opportunities in our community. And this is, we also give away these wonderful pens that say Sher Vancouver on them.
Nice.
And Sher means lion in Persian, Punjabi, Hindi, many South Asian languages. And we chose the term lion because we felt it represents courage, strength, bravery, pride, which is what many people need to have in the queer community if they're coming out. These are the attributes that they need to have. But the original reason we chose a lion symbol was in 2008, 15 years ago, we were a queer Sikh group and not a queer South Asian. Singh in the Punjabi community means lion, our middle name, and Kaur means lioness or princess. So we associated with that, but over time we changed everything, the meaning, to make it more inclusive. So we have the Sher Vancouver podcast has an image of a lioness as their logo, but Sher Vancouver as an organization has a lion. So we're trying to be more gender balanced and inclusive even in our marketing now.
You're getting out to festivals. You have another film that's being produced. I don't want to eat up too much time for that poor worker
That's okay.
outside. But what is your feeling and reaction to seeing Sher Vancouver being recognized and people being excited about it.
It was amazing. We had a Pride of Bollywood float in the Vancouver Pride Parade, and we're about to release the video about that float, and we had 50 people show up for our float. And there was so many young people so excited to be a part of Share Vancouver. Like the visibility that the podcast and the film and that our social media presence and our gatherings and events and our monthly networking potlucks and our meet and greet events and the community outreach that we do is really paying dividends because we are seen as a dynamic group that is actually doing things and helping the community. And, I'm a social worker. I thought I'm just doing the work that I'm supposed to do as a social worker, but I just didn't realize. I mean, we have the power of the media on our side because we are basically becoming kind of like a media organization. Right? So, you can go and, I'm not saying that, one-on-one grassroots work is not important, but you could go to do 1,000 presentations and it could take you for your lifetime career to do 1,000 presentations. Or you can make a movie and it can be seen by thousands of people around the world at the same time. Or you can have a podcast and you can put it up on 8, 9 sites and that podcast can be heard by hundreds and hundreds of people all over the place. So the impact we're having is compounded and magnified because we're using technology in multimedia.
That's what I feel just overall. The queer and just like left spaces overall need to do more. Utilize technology. Let's do it. I mean, conservatives seem to be doing pretty good at promoting their stuff. Let's be louder than them.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm a little bit concerned about our society and, if some right-wing person gets elected or something happens, I mean, how are the minorities going to be treated? I mean, not only am I a minority for being gay, and I'm also a minority for being brown, and I also live with bipolar, which puts me at risk of living with a disability. I mean, what's going to happen to my health care? What's going to happen to my support services? What's going to happen to me as a person if something happens and they start stripping gay people of all their rights? I don't have a lot of confidence in what's happening out there. I see some hope, but if you look at what happened in the United States with the abortion ruling, it's only a matter of time before the U.S. Supreme Court strips gay people of their rights, trans people of their rights, women of their rights, minorities of their rights. Already the voting system in the United States is basically corrupt. The areas that have the most population, it's not a proper democracy because rural areas that just have a few people have all the seats. It's kind of like I don't understand how they can tolerate this, and they're always trying to prevent people from voting and block people from voting, and so I don't know. I mean, Ryan, I just really feel like the values we cherish in society, like an independent judiciary system and free vote and democracy for everyone, one vote, one person, and I think it's all under threat.
It's a scary time. That's why organizations like Share Vancouver, bringing people together, and we can inspire the next generation is very enthusiastic about things, and we just got to mobilize that enthusiasm to not only vote, that's the minimum ground for things, but to get involved. Let's build communities of every background, every sort of diversity available, and come together to build systems where we all prosper.
Well, you're inspiring me, and I see that excitement in Share Vancouver with the youth coming forward and joining and doing things and fighting for things. And I've also seen, I'm 50 years old. I've seen a lot in my lifetime. And, all it takes is one election to mess everything up. So we have to be vigilant and we have to constantly fight for our rights.
It's never done. What was it? Oh no, I'm not good on my history. It was not Stonegate? No. Oh no. The Stonewall riots. It wasn't that long ago. Like, we got to be vigilant, and things may be scary, but we can shift the ship into a new direction.
Yeah, I hope so. I think there's so many challenges that youth nowadays are facing with housing issues and
Mental health.
job issues and stagnant wages. It's going to be really a confusing time. I have a lot of clients in my counseling practice who are young people who just don't know what to do with their lives. So it'll be a challenge, but I have faith. I have faith in our community, in our youth.
We can do it together. Our predecessors fought for the rights of everyone, and we can continue to do so.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Alex, is there anything else that you'd like to share about Sher Vancouver? Anything else that's happening or something you're excited about maybe in the next 5 years? Where do you think you're going?
I think we're going to be growing rapidly. I think we're going to be expanding. It wouldn't surprise me if we triple our budget and triple the number of people as part of Sher Vancouver working for us. As part of our core operating team and our volunteers, in the last 3 years, we have tripled. So I'm thinking in the next 5 years, we will triple. So it's just our trajectory seems to be going. And the other thing that I've noticed is that we are attracting a lot more BIPOC. Originally, we were a queer South Asian group now, but we're attracting a lot of BIPOC people who don't have any safe spaces for themselves. So I think, we're going to be moving more in the direction of providing more services to people, who are part of the multicultural spectrum.
That's awesome to hear.
Including Indigenous people.
Of course. I mean,
including
they need help. They need allies.
So we will be working with, we just developed a justice, equity, diversity, and inclusion policy. We redid our entire motto, mission, vision, and values. We put together an organization chart. So we're getting all the basic structure in place for us to do all that.
Well, Alex, absolute pleasure. I'm excited to see what's going on with Sher Vancouver in the future, and I'm going to make sure to check out those podcasts. Where can people go to find out more information about your organization?
Just go to shervancouver.com for the podcast. Go to Sher Vancouver Podcast. Just Google it and, enjoy the podcast.
Have any stories you'd like us to share or communities we should highlight? Leave a comment on our social media or reach out to us on our website. I'm Ryan Funk. This was You Talk. And have yourself a good one.